Let's call the meeting to order.
Agnes Varnarski, chairperson.
Present.
Pete Hahn, commissioner.
Here.
John Kamish, commissioner.
Here.
Ed Madden, commissioner.
Present.
Seth Marcus, commissioner.
Here.
Dana Syvertson, commissioner.
Here.
Joe Moskow, commissioner. All commissioners are present. We have a quorum.
Thank you. And let's have approval of the minutes of the board meeting of April 11th.
I make the motion that we approve the minutes as so beautifully crafted by Joe Moskow.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, minutes approved, and let's move to old business, volunteer workdays. Heavily attended. It's been really great. Lots of fun. I think you have the.
Yeah, we're at
Hours.
1,064 hours of labor to date,
Year to date?
year to date, which is incredible.
Yes, it is incredible.
It's a happy campers.
And so this Sunday we'll be at the slough. We'll be planting many plants, going after the rest of the garlic mustard and
The buckthorn.
some buckthorn, depending on how many volunteers we have. Okay, and Prospect Heights Public Library Park District events.
Nothing going on with Nature Speaks right now. I'm talking to a couple of people from our pollinator certification class that we took. So hopefully we'll have some wrap up there. We met the new guy who's the library hired to take over for Terry. So we have a rapport with him now and sort of hashed out how that's all going to work. The only other thing with Park District events is the bird walks. The next one is Saturday, hold on,
24th, I think,
18th.
18th, okay.
And they start at 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock instead of 7:30.
Instead of 7:30. And that's about it.
Well, except for the program we did was totally awesome.
Yeah, we did do that, didn't we?
Yeah.
Seems like
a
so long
blur.
ago, but it was fairly recent. Actually, you had a volunteer, going back to volunteer, that showed up from our presentation. So she
Yeah,
saw the presentation,
absolutely.
and then she came to volunteer yesterday for seed transplanting. So it was really nice.
Also, I'd like to thank Scott Britton for the thing that he did for us,
Resolution.
the resolution. That was really pretty cool.
nice. Mhm.
So,
Frameable.
yes.
Yeah, that was very special, very nice. Okay, project update status and monitoring reports.
I think everybody submitted one, right?
Everybody submitted one, and are there any questions about anything that anybody submitted or talked about or about which area? No. Overall, everything looks great, is improving, I'd say.
Things are growing,
Things are
Yeah.
growing, yes.
exploding.
Did you want to,
Yes.
did you want to comment about the shoreline restoration project for the summer?
Oh, yes.
Do
It's
we
on
have
the
that?
list
It's
further
further
It's
down
further
on the
Okay,
list.
then we'll talk about
Oh,
that.
okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Never mind.
All right, then moving on to the seed greenhouse program. We have many plants, many plants. I think the most that we've ever had. We have a lot of second-year plants. We have seedlings. We have over 17,000 that have been transplanted so far, and another 17,000 that can be transplanted. We have just, I mean, basically running out of space, really, but we're going to be planting a lot over the next 2 weeks, so we'll make room. Everything, I mean, the rain has really helped. We don't have to water. The weather has really helped. Everybody's out of the greenhouse. Usually we wouldn't do that until May 15th, or around May 15th, but the weather has been so warm. So everybody's really happy and watered by all the rain we've gotten. And all the seeds are out, so. Any questions? Okay. Educational updates. So maybe I'll start with the Wheeling High School. So we are not giving a presentation, but they are coming. I just confirmed with Medea, Ms. Abbott, that they're coming on May 15th, which is next Wednesday at 9 a.m. And she will be bringing 2 groups out, both of her environmental sciences groups. And so they will be touring the slough for an hour and a half at 9 a.m. on May 15th. So if anybody is available, that's great.
So both tours will take, both groups will
Both groups.
be toured in an hour and a half.
Right, instead of doing, she had split them up previously, so we were doing like 9 and then 10:30, but they're both coming But I think they combined classes, so they have a whole hour and a half.
Do they have a time yet when they're coming?
9 a.m.
9,
Mhm.
okay.
And then MacArthur Middle School, we don't have anything planned as far as education. And the District 214 micro internships are over as of yesterday, actually. The last intern made up his last hour and a half yesterday, and so the micro internships are over. They have asked us to do a video, but I think that's not until like midsummer,
Mid-May.
mid-May. Wait, it is almost mid-May.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll be reaching out. But the students have been really pleased with the program, and so they would like to do a video about the program for District 214.
We weren't asked by MacArthur to do their science fair this year, remember? We usually do that in April, don't we?
Is it in April or is it in the
No, I think it's in the fall,
in
isn't
the
it?
fall?
I
No?
thought it was in April. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and summer internship program.
Okay, we have hired Nora. We interviewed her, what was it, Monday? Just recently,
It was yesterday.
yesterday.
Oh my gosh.
Tomorrow, we have an interview at 9 o'clock in the morning with Jess Grutner. She's doing in-person. And then Saturday at 2:30 with Emma. And we
Those
should
are-
be able to make a decision in terms of that second position by, I'd say, Saturday afternoon. The guy who applied just vanished into thin air, and he doesn't respond to any requests. Are you still interested or anything like that? So at this point, I think we'll just move on.
What about the young lady that the three of us interviewed?
Yes.
Yeah, she's still a
definitely-
candidate.
Mhm.
She is still,
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
Yes, we
Nice.
should just have the other two to meet and. Is anybody available for those interviews or want to be present?
Excuse me?
Does anybody want to be present for those
I
interviews?
wish I could. I can't.
No,
When is it, tomorrow?
tomorrow at 9
o'clock
a.m.
in the morning tomorrow.
and Saturday at 2:30. Okay, so we'll let you know. Okay. But really great candidates, so really exciting, very exciting. And it looks like they would be starting June 3rd because of Memorial Day and everything else and the way that they've finished school. Okay, then let's move on. Continued reporting, ComEd Green Regions Grant status.
We'll hear late June whether or not we get it, so
Okay,
sit and wait.
exciting, hopeful.
That's the grant for the,
The area in between the police and fire stations.
right, all right, I thought there was a separate line item here. Maybe not.
No.
Okay.
Eagle Scout projects, update.
The, the grant has room for incorporating an Eagle Scout project into that. So if the point we get that grant, that would be one of the first things we do is look for an Eagle Scout to take that. In the meantime, we still need to divide up all the areas, and I need to talk to Mark about how he wants to go about coming up with a suggestion for the area, and then who would need to approve it in order to make it official that we can hand it off to an Eagle Scout. So there's still some preliminary work to do there.
One thing I would recommend in reference to that too is that if the commission's providing some funding, through the grant or in any manner, I would be pretty picky as to what you choose. Because that really, it's helpful to the scout a lot, and that takes away one of the toughest things with a project, because everything costs money. So to remedy that, or by bringing something to that table, I think you're in a position to be a little pickier than you might be. Everything's relative to what needs to be done and what can be done according to those potential restrictions, but I wouldn't just jump at the first one
Oh,
unless.
yeah. Yeah, we had a sort of ill-fated one with the sled at Christmas.
Mhm.
Yeah, we're well aware of it.
Is Zeke's Trail a possible Eagle Scout project?
Well, we don't have a candidate at the moment. So I think it's
What was that
it's already sort of a
Either-
done deal, I guess.
called?
They take, the Eagle Scout projects usually take several months for planning and permission. So if we did make that a project, it wouldn't go until the fall. And so I think that probably,
Well, one of the things, we've done all the planning and buying of materials and all that. It's
Yeah.
almost, you know,
it's a done deal.
it's just construction at this point, but I think the whole point of an Eagle Scout project is for them to help the planning and funding and all that other stuff, so.
Come up with
yeah,
an idea.
Yeah,
Sort of put their name on it. Okay.
we don't want to do all the work.
Right.
Right.
And it really is. They are
Direction.
designed to be leadership projects.
Exactly, yeah. With some guidance. Right. Adopt a trail.
Adopt a Trail, I am in the process of making maps that carve up the sections that are available. The May Journal will have a major presentation on that, and hopefully we'll round up some more candidates. Right now, John, myself, Jill.
And Marion Spencer.
Mary and Spencer have all claimed parts of various sites. So there'll be one, and these will all be downloadable PDFs as well. But there's one general map that shows all the areas where there's work to do, and then there'll be individual areas that will show trails and sections of trails and the availability and who's taken what at this point. So that'll all come out in the May Journal.
Okay, great.
Questions?
All right. The NRC 2023 to 2024 budget. I see, yeah, that's last.
Well, that's last year's budget. Is that, are we not done with that?
Is that
your
only
question?
because
No, we're done with it.
we are done with it, except that we've transferred funds to the grant proposal,
We're
I
talking
guess.
about the donation
The
funds?
donation funds.
Okay.
Mhm.
So, well, let's just roll
Move
into
on.
the
Right.
2024,
Mhm.
2045 budget. I don't think we're that
I
well
like
planned.
long-range
But it's
planning,
it's
The next 20
It's the next
years.
fiscal year,
yes.
and we got a
30
fresh,
years
Next
old.
central.
we got a fresh new budget, $13,544 from the city.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Very.
Park District, we're still waiting on the numbers on that.
I couldn't remember what they passed, so that's why I just left it blank.
Yeah, okay. I can't remember either. I don't remember. You guys know?
I think it was,
All right, we'll get that one on the next month. Yeah. We spent no money so far for this year's budget, unless you've spent something I don't know.
We did today.
Oh, we did today,
Today.
all right.
we need
It's,
transplant.
All right.
yeah.
So we need more things for transplanting, more of those, because we have so many plants.
All right, importantly, we got $6,000 from the capital budget for the shoreline restoration. So that's an ongoing annual thing for a total of 6 years. We're entering our third year on that. And then with the first responder park funds, we've moved our donation funds into that for a total of $10,000, and then we're waiting for that ComEd's Green Region grant to match that at 10.
Right, so
Yeah.
we moved 7, the city gave 3, and then if it gets matched, it'll be another 10, which would give
Yeah.
us 20.
What are
Such
the
an-
2 3s in the donation?
So,
The one reflects the city's donation.
right, I mean donation, the contribution to the grant.
And the other
And
ones?
thank the city for that as well, right?
Well, yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it's a great
Absolutely,
project.
yeah.
I hope the city gets the grant.
And what's
No, I mean
So-
on
The other
the
three-
shoreline restoration,
Oh,
Back to
absolutely.
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So the other
If we
3,000,
don't get this grant, is this project on ice then?
I don't know. I mean, I think that we can still do it, just in a smaller capacity.
We're not going to even think that way.
Well, I mean, you got a
No.
plan, Plan B.
I agree.
I'd say we'd have to defer to Mark. We'd have to have another conversation with Mark
Mark and Peter and the
to
city
see
and see what,
exactly how they would like to proceed.
right.
Or just to cross that bridge when we get, if we get.
Well, we'll keep our fingers crossed and stay positive, like you said, but
Such a
I guess
great,
in the back of our
project.
heads, we gotta maybe think of,
I just think it's such a great project. I can't imagine that we wouldn't get it. Yeah.
just realistic. All right,
Okay.
any
Well,
questions?
Seth was asking about the 3,000 for the donation. So I don't know if that was a combined donation from,
It's
I think it,
we
the
had
other,
seven. and
I know,
they
but he's
contributed
asking about this 3, because this was
Right,
Woods,
right.
but
This
then
is-
this other 3,
City,
I understand, but then there's a 3 left over, and that's a combination, just a total of the donations, right?
yes.
Okay,
Our-
so it's
our
just
donation.
other
We had
donations.
3,000 left over from last year.
Right.
And then there's 4,000 for the donation. And
Yeah.
then the city was putting.
3.
Right?
Right.
Yes.
I wasn't part of these conversations, I came late to the party on this, so I left, that's why I left them blank.
Yeah.
The 2, 3, because I didn't know exactly how we
Okay.
wanted to identify.
Okay. Mhm.
It's a total of 10.
Yes. Okay, then let's move on to city civic meetings and PHNRC representation.
Just a few things. Well, as you know, the City of Prospect Heights full year 2024-25 budget was approved at their April 24th meeting. Nothing really to note with the Park District and the PZBA meeting of April 25th. The staff is still working on their report for creating the chicken ordinance. So their next meeting is May 22nd.
Okay. Friends of the PHNRC.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
this is in reference to the 501c3 that we're seriously contemplating forming, whether it's called Friends of PHNRC or something else, but it's definitely about the 501c3.
Well, are we piecing that together, or what are we doing with that?
Well, I don't know, Peter, maybe you could shed some more light on this. One of our big concerns was, and we've had this conversation before, was that we would do a 501c and then city and park district could just simply say, okay, you guys are now self-funding, and we don't have time to do that. I mean, if we had to come up with our operational expenses, we'd probably opt not to do that. And then you had discussed the possibility of doing an intergovernmental agreement where the park district and the city would contribute a fixed amount to the, whatever this entity is
No,
going
to
to
the
be called.
PHNRC,
No.
because this would be a separate entity.
No.
No, this would be-
No, the way Peter explained it was that they would contribute to the 501(c). The 501(c) would then take the mechanism of paying all of the bills for the NRC.
Oh,
Yeah, that
Right.
way you have free reign to do whatever you wanted with that money.
Right,
And then the city and park district would, you're right, would have an agreement with, Friends of the PHNRC, to say that we will donate 5, 10,000, whatever, $15,000 a year to the 501c3. But just so you know, what can be given can be stopped. So, I mean, it's, if a, I don't know, bunch of oil barons took over the city council and said, no, we don't want to fund the PHNRC anymore, that is a possibility. But, eyes wide open, I don't envision that happening, only because we've been funding you for all these years anyway, so.
But that's a reality either way. I
Yeah,
mean,
well,
whether
you're
it's a
absolutely right.
501(c)
You're absolutely
or,
right.
yeah,
So it's a leap of faith regardless.
yeah.
Is there any advantage for the city in making that a donation to the Friends of? Do they get any
The
benefit?
difference would be, is we would be out of the procurement business.
Correct.
Which would be my position right now.
Right.
Would just be, instead of you contacting me
We just
to order
order.
something,
We-
and there wouldn't be that extra step that slows the process down.
Right,
You need to buy something, you go to Home Depot and buy it.
right.
You're a 501c3, so you don't pay taxes on it. Now, you can call me up or email me, I have to put an order in, or don't buy your supplies in it, if that's an advantage. if you want.
Right, but as, because you would be donating to the organization, would there be any sort of benefit to you, like tax-wise or anything else-wise? Like if I was just a normal person donating to the NRC, Friends of the NRC, I would
Probably
get a
not.
tax credit
For tax.
For the
tax
city.
benefit
for the
us.
For
city.
the city.
Yeah,
No, okay,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, it just would be the same as when we donate to, and we've done this before, we've donated to a veterans group, right, I can't remember what it was called, but it was another 501c3 charity that someone was involved with that we donated to. No, there'd be no benefit to that. I would also assume that part of the agreement that you would strike with the park district, and any separate park district in the city, there'd be some language in there that, even though the 501c3 is its own entity, you're doing the work, so we would have to have some say in what work you're doing on city property, just like the parks.
Mhm.
Right.
So, that really wouldn't change because you're doing that now.
Right,
The only thing is, that changes is now you're in charge, not you per se, but the 501c3 is in charge of the funds and has more discretion on what they can do with it. As far as holding it over year to year, you get a big lump sum, you don't have to spend it all that year, so that's really, the benefit really is for the funding aspect of the NRC.
and then also for private donations where it's tax deductible for
Correct.
them.
yeah. it's
Right.
tax-
Right,
huge.
maybe, more,
Well,
Well,
that's
that
the
may
real
be- it will be-
motivation.
And we
Right.
could solicit as well for funds as a 501.
Yeah,
and for,
PHNRC, or the Friends of the PHNRC can do all that.
yeah, and for the commissioners who donate their own private funds to the
Right, that's
effort.
also.
I mean, that,
What
depending-
about,
consult with your own tax attorney.
right, what about the interns? So right now, they're employed by the city, and would we just then
Same
contribute?
with the park district.
Yes, and the
So
park
Park
district,
District gives us funds for that second intern. Friends of PHNRC would then give us funds for both interns.
and they would still be
And then
employed
still
by
be-
the,
Yeah, by the city.
just as we are doing,
Correct, because it's the NRC, the
still,
PHNRC, you are under the umbrella of the city.
right,
Friends of the PHNRC is not.
right,
So, but that's just the funding wing,
right.
or the funding arm of the NRC.
So the PHNRC would have no funds.
Correct.
Correct.
And
Yeah, so you would not have line items like you do now, because the money would be going to the Friends of the PHNRC.
And currently, when we say we want to buy tools or soil or something, we tell you and you say, okay, then go buy it. Do we pay taxes on the tools?
The
Do
city.
we now?
No,
Because we're not, we're tax exempt, but 501c3 should also be tax
Yeah.
exempt.
Right.
So the difference is, again, you're just not coming to me to buy the supplies.
Mm-hmm.
You're buying the supplies, it's funded by the Friends of the PHNRC.
Which comes first, the intergovernmental agreement or the formation of the
I think
501c3?
you have to create a 501c3. Because you can't have an intergovernmental agreement with an entity that doesn't
Right.
exist. So,
do you have,
and let's face it, you can create a 501c3 and then not do anything with it. I mean, if you so choose, you can, I'm sure there's some way to cancel it.
Yes.
So,
I've done it.
having one isn't hurt you.
Right. Okay, so
Okay.
the next step is to find out everything and form a 501c3.
one last question. Joe had sort of represented that the city attorney might be able to help us out with this.
If that's what the city administrator said, I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
I'm leery only because you even think about the city attorney and we're getting charged.
Yeah, okay.
So, I mean, that would be a decision made by someone higher up than me.
Okay.
All
All
right.
right, I'll
Or
talk
higher
to Joe.
up than my current position.
I'll talk to Joe about it. Thank you, Peter.
Okay.
Any other questions about?
Only if, does anybody know for sure that we could both be on both?
Yeah, Peter already answered that
You already,
question.
we
Yeah.
can definitely be on both. Like, we can be on the board or whatever of the,
There should be no conflict of
Okay.
interest there. I mean, I'm assuming you're gonna have other people on it.
yes,
It's not gonna
just be the
this-
same.
This board, or this
Right.
commission.
Mm-hmm, yes. Okay. Yes, so. All things to think
Cool.
about. Okay, sorry, still thinking. Okay. MacArthur Middle School and Tree Planting Initiative. Peter?
Yeah, so good news, the tree keepers are going to donate, or they're going to give the trees to School District 23, MacArthur Middle School. So
Yay.
all we need now is to get the meeting arranged, June or July, to get all the interested parties involved and get the project going. Good news.
That's terrific. Thanks, Pete, for
Yeah.
doing that.
Did they say how many trees?
As well, that's, we have to talk to
We
the
have to
school,
talk to about, okay.
see where they want them and
Mhm.
how many.
Mhm.
CTI,
Wonderful.
City, the Tree Commission, you know, for Morton.
Mm-hmm.
That's really good news, Peter.
Yeah, so there's no
That's great.
grant needed for the trees.
That's
Wonderful.
Being donated or given.
That's great. Thank you
Yep.
so much, Peter, for
Yeah.
doing that and spearheading it. It's great. Okay, Living Green Expo, Jill?
Nothing really new. I did hear from my contact. She was just asking specifically what we needed as far as chairs, tables, canopies, and instructions on materials that they would expect us to have, particularly having something that interests the children. So I would like to go through our educational materials.
Mhm.
But
Yes,
that's
we
all.
have
Still June 8th from 10 to 2.
10 to 2, okay. Is there anything else you need other than educational materials and,
Well, I might come by and get some books from you like I did
Oh,
last year and so
okay.
forth.
great,
Oh,
okay.
for the airball.
Prospect Heights Community Day is on June 1st. That is a Saturday.
Yeah, I did
Mhm.
not send an email to Marcia Gendris, so
I already confirmed with her that.
you
we
have?
did, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And she's giving us 2 tables. We're bringing 2 canopies.
Okay. And it's you and me again, right,
Yep.
Dana?
Unless anybody else wants to join us.
No. I have to work. I can't take all.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Have a dentist.
Okay. All right, moving on. Independence Day parades. July 1st is Arlington Heights and July 6th is Prospect Heights?
That's
Yep.
Is that
correct.
right? July
Yeah.
6th?
It's a Saturday. Right.
Oh, right, okay,
But
sure.
July 1st is a Monday.
Yeah,
Really?
Arlington Heights is theirs on a Monday?
No, no.
No, July
July 1st is a
4th.
third,
Yeah.
July 4th
Gonna say
is, that's incorrect.
unusual.
Wait, huh?
July 4th.
July 4th is Arlington Heights.
Oh, okay, so that's, all right. July, okay, what is July 4th then?
It's a Thursday.
Oh, okay.
I've submitted the application for the Arlington Heights Parade. Just waiting to hear back on that. It shouldn't be a problem. Started talking to various people involved in putting together our floats and all that stuff. So things will ramp up a couple weeks before to put our display together. We have additional large puppets in the process right now. And we're going to reuse a lot of our stuff from last year and then have some additions to it.
Do we have a trailer or float, John?
We have the same trailer we've been using for the last 2 years.
Okay.
We're going to construct that the week before. That'll be on my driveway again. And tends to be a fun event.
What
ahead.
about the Prospect Heights parade? Like, is there a list or something that we have to be on too? Is that made yet?
That's going on tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Tomorrow?
Okay.
All right. Yeah, I haven't seen anything on there yet.
Okay.
There's something else I was going to say about it, now I can't remember.
I'm sorry. What about maybe the puppets and meeting in your driveway and how much help you need?
Lots of help. Lost, sorry.
It'll come back.
But things are coming together, and our artists in Cho are helping us out. I met with Kate, Tully, and Andy today. I've talked to Heather, our puppeteer, yesterday.
Is there a theme this year?
The theme is, that's what I was going to say, I think. All right, so we're jumping on the bandwagon with the Sunflower Group's art display. Their theme this year is bugs. And so we're adding some bugs to our menagerie, along with the other stuff we've had. But we will have at least 4 giant ants walking down the street with us,
Wow.
if everything goes all right.
Okay.
We've scaled that down from 16.
16.
Yeah, I can't do it.
All right.
So it should be good, another fun event, and we expect a good turnout. We'll need all our volunteers to help.
Yeah,
That's a good thought.
Yeah, they're all chomping at the bit at this point.
yeah.
See,
I
Are they
have
gonna-
an email that I haven't sent it yet, but it is in the works.
John, what about cicadas, John?
I was gonna say, any red-eyed
You
insects?
won't need it, they'll be there already.
Cicadas?
I didn't hear that.
Cicadas.
Cicadas.
We've canceled the giant cicada
Okay.
because there's just not enough time to build a giant one.
Mhm.
We will reuse our monarch and our giant caterpillar from
Okay.
last year.
Okay, great. Wonderful. Looking forward to it. Such great fun. Really look forward to the parade, Prospect Heights Parade. It's just great.
One thing I would suggest as an organization for the parade itself is that we're one of the few walking groups in the parade, and the walkers tend to set the pace, and unfortunately, if there's cars leading the parade in front,
Right.
the parade gets very scattered and separated and not very confluent. So if at all possible, maybe I could talk to the Prospect Heights Parade organizers about this. The lead people in the parade should be someone on foot. And then that would hold back the people driving cars from going too fast.
Well, there is the color guards on foot.
Well, something happens where there's always a big gap
Yeah,
between,
Yeah.
Oh, no, I understand.
yeah.
But the color guard leads the parade off.
Well, they must be in good
followed
shape.
by the, and this isn't gonna change, the fire district.
Okay, so maybe we'll have to talk to the color guard to slow them down a little bit.
Or put somebody in between.
They must be in good shape,
Yeah.
yeah. Or somehow we gotta keep the whole parade
Yeah.
a little more tight instead of this kind of ragtag.
So, okay, yeah, well, I understand.
Yeah,
And the parade is, I'm gonna be in the parade this year, Joe Wade's gonna be there, our new deputy clerk, LJ is we're gonna be the ones that put the parade together.
okay.
But as Karen always said, I put everybody in order and then they do what they want to.
Right, that's true. You know, well, just thinking about it, I mean, if somebody's, they start off, they're walking a good pace, but then it takes time to get out of the parking lot and all the groups and everything, and I think maybe that's where the disconnect is, if maybe and I don't know anything about this, but like if someone would, I know at Arlington Heights, like people would stop in the beginning, just for a brief pause, like for a minute, to let everybody catch up.
Yeah, if someone could guide everyone coming out of the lot, keep them together. It does kind of get disorganized as everyone's leaving the lot and there's different speeds. But again, I think if you put a slowpoke in front, it'll tighten up the whole thing.
Or near the front. I know you have your order for
Well, yeah, I mean, so.
legitimate reasons.
The color guard, like you said, should set the pace.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So if I doubt they're stopping for anybody. So if other people are stopping, maybe there's a better way, there could be a parade,
police.
Maybe, I think maybe the chief of police or deputy chief are gonna, get on their golf cart. Maybe we can have them go and literally police the parade.
Well, I know we've, within our own group, it's gotten large enough where we do have 2 runners, me being one of them, who kind of oversees our group and keeps them tight and keeps them, as a unit, Yeah,
I understand. But
yeah,
again,
I know, there's a lot of moving
People do
parts
it-
there.
People do what they want.
Yeah.
It'll be
Thank
great,
you.
regardless,
And
really
thanks for
great.
all your work in it, John. I mean, it's
Yes,
You're welcome.
a Herculean task.
it
That's
sure
a lot of
is.
work. Running out of gas.
We'll help with anything you need. Okay, all right, moving on, new initiatives, right, we're there.
Yeah.
Hillcrest Lake Shoreline Restoration Project.
Okay, I met with John a couple days ago. We looked at the section and defined where we want to go. We're in the north finger, and we're about 45 yards off of Owen Court.
That's
45 feet, I would say.
Feet, yeah,
Feet.
feet. And then we're going 100 feet to the south towards John's house. One of the differences between this year's edition and others is that because it's on that north end, everything sort of flows more towards that north end. So the water tends to be more active there, and that's something we haven't really necessarily seen. And also, everything is really, really high right now, the water levels. So it's sort of deceiving as in terms of what you're actually trying to plan for. This area, there's a couple of spots where there's maybe 2 to 3 feet of eroded shoreline left, and then the road starts. That needs to be brought into the lake and filled and vegetated heavily in order to try to reclaim some of that and give more of a buffer to the road. So that's a tall task. I've had preliminary talks with Dan at Haynes regarding the core logs, and he said the largest core log they make is a 20-inch diameter. So that's pretty big. But we have no real idea what the water level is there at this point. So his suggestion to us was that if the majority of this log is going to remain in water, we may have trouble vegetating that area with plants. And so his recommendation in that case is that you put a stone toe down first and then put your core logs on top of that. That's all going to be dependent, that decision is going to be dependent and driven by what the realistic normal water level is going to look like. And so John and I are going to try to assess that next week, because it's supposed to be a little bit drier. And then we'll make a decision. If we have to go with, and I think we probably want to go with 20-inch diameter core logs, the order time is 2 to 3 weeks on that, and they come in from their North Carolina plant, so there'd be some additional shipping on that. One of Dan's last suggestions was that we go take photographs with rulers, showing him exactly what the conditions are. Then he said he would make a better recommendation for us based on that.
Yeah, it's a short, steep drop off, and, you know, last year, we had a drought, which made constructing the shoreline easy for us. The year before was kind of deep. But it'd be more like the year before when we did that west side, where, you know, we were half underwater putting in the first, or more, like almost all underwater, putting in the first roll. There's gonna need a lot more fill on this area than we used in the other sections. So part of that, part of that budget's gotta go to fill.
Yeah, and it's also necessitates getting a finer cover, erosion blanket than we used last year.
To hold it in, yeah.
So this might be a stretch, and it's just an idea in the moment, but especially if timing is in alignment with the rebuilding of Willow Road, will there possibly be any material from that in the, through any of the phases that might allow for some recycling of material from that project over to provide fill for the.
To build on?
Yeah. Now, again, the devil's in the details. Who knows if
I don't think we
anything.
could
Seven
count on
hundred.
that, yeah.
No.
When a contractor is doing it, they're taking it and going.
Okay,
any material. There's no way to say, well, can you put some here?
yeah,
It's just not possible. That's why it'll simply be, we'll have to buy
yeah,
Yeah.
whatever fill you need.
right.
Yeah.
Peter, do we have a start date for that project yet?
No, I know there's, again, we're really not driving the bus on this one.
Right, they said
because
summer
there's
is the
so many
last,
people involved.
yeah,
So, unfortunately not, no.
okay.
All right, I knew it was
I know
a reach.
there's been some, discussion of, they're looking at changes possibly or something, so
Mhm.
we don't have a definitive start date.
Okay.
We wanted it started in, this fall,
Mhm.
because because the road has to settle, unfortunately, because of the underlying ground, so we don't know. We wanted this done last year, so it's just a matter of us waiting on, Cook County's driving the bus on this.
Okay.
Okay.
I have a question too. Have you looked at the map and made sure that it was far away from the Willow Road, from the Owen?
It's far enough away.
It's
There's,
far enough away, yeah.
there's a big buffer of cattails growing in that corner right now, and,
Because they're also gonna put in a slope there.
I know, but it's still, if you
It's
walk
just
over
not
there,
very
you'll
nice.
see there's plenty of room between that and where we're proposed
Oh,
starting
okay,
this.
'cause 45 feet is,
It's a lot.
Might be more than that, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
just wanna make sure that we're
take
not.
a look. There's a big rock in the shore there. and
Okay.
Everything to the west of the rock is where we would start this.
Okay.
There should be plenty of room.
Okay, just so that we're not,
No, we,
But the other thing is, no
Constructive.
matter where we do a shoreline section this year, I think, well, at the current time, would be a challenge because of the height of the water.
right,
I mean, June
Yeah.
could be a dry month, so could July, we don't know.
right.
And it might be best to wait until till the lake water goes down instead of
Sure.
like put a hard date on it.
Mhm.
And, if we have the materials on hand, then we can wait till the prime
Yeah.
time, but then they
But
gotta
the
sit.
plants-
the other
the
thing,
plants.
the other thing
That's
that,
the other thing, is the plants. The plants can't wait forever, because they're very, very they're gonna
They're-
hold the shoreline, and they are ready to go.
the other thing.
Well, maybe
that-
this section also, I'm sorry,
No,
Dan.
no, go ahead.
Maybe we need more aquatics on this section, because it is a lot of underwater stuff going on there.
I grew a lot of like bulrushes too and everything, so.
The other thing that John and I were in agreement in, was that we probably need a full-blown workday with a lot of people in the water to clear that shoreline. The best approach here is just take everything out, and start just at that, so.
There's a tree or shrub or two that can stay, I think,
Yeah.
but, what's our opinion on willows? There are a lot of willows right there, too,
Like in the water?
right on the shoreline.
Yeah. They'd be in the way of trying to get core logs in there or anything else.
You know,
That's why you need to come out and look at this stuff.
But they got
Ah,
roots.
too busy.
they got roots, shallow roots that don't hold soil. They're mostly fallen though, no? Or they're kind of half dead?
We're not talking giant willows, we're talking.
Oh, the little willows?
Yeah,
Oh.
shrubby.
Well, right, so the little willows, some of them are even used in shoreline stabilization.
Well, that's what I'm saying, do you
Right.
leave some of them?
I would,
Yeah.
yeah, I would totally leave some of those.
Yeah.
The little, the sandbar willows, yeah, different
Right.
than the big tree willows, yeah,
Right, right.
absolutely. Mhm. Yeah, their roots are different than the trees. I would leave some of them.
Are there native shellfish?
There's clams.
Right, so.
Crayfish,
Sorry?
crayfish,
And clams, yeah.
No, I mean,
mussels,
bivalves.
There's clams, there's freshwater clams, all.
yeah.
So
And mussels.
Is it considered, they currently exist in the lake?
They're
Big-
certainly in McDonald Creek,
For sure.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
and I have found shells, clam shells in the lake, not as much as in the creek, but
And is it thought that historically?
And snail.
There were higher population in the lake?
what's the question?
What would be a normal native ecosystem for a lake like this? Would there be a lot more clams?
I would think so, but I don't know for sure.
There's snails too,
And those are pretty tolerant species, right? They can
depending on the species, right, from our river watch.
survive in, yeah,
Left and right-handed snails.
yeah. They're pretty tolerant
I mean, they can be a substantial part of a stabilization effort that's solid and not gonna wash away. And,
I don't think there's enough that we could count on that.
well, there's not enough, that's what I'm saying, maybe we need to do restoration.
What do you mean, though? What do you mean?
Well,
Plants?
So
I'm wondering what, I don't know what a historic, natural population level is.
But what, how would clams stabilize the shoreline?
Clams stabilize under the water. They keep, when you're talking about,
Yeah,
what
but-
happens there is you're having.
How are you gonna get them to stay at the shoreline?
Well, you do seeding and bedding, and you have clams hopefully, colonize an area to try to stabilize it.
Like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think that's,
Yeah, I don't know the natural history of freshwater clams and how they survive and what's the
I don't think
best,
that they do that, though.
I
They
see
don't.
them mostly in moving water, though, so like in the
Yeah.
creek and also in the Des Plaines River, I see tons of clams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't really find them in the lake too much.
Yeah,
But I don't see them so much.
You
Yeah,
can't
I'm not
really
well
see.
versed in it, I don't
Yeah.
know, but I'm just
Well,
wondering.
usually you'll see the shells, like, you'll see the
Yeah,
dead
you'll see the
ones.
shells.
I mean, was there a time when populations were significantly higher, therefore stabilizing things, or not? I don't know, I'm asking.
Yeah.
I-
Not that we're aware of.
I know, for example, in the saltwater environment, it's a huge thing throughout the East Coast, from Florida to New York, to bring back oysters for shoreline stabilization.
Yeah.
It's happening in the probably billions of dollars worth of effort.
That's saltwater. It's way different.
I know, that's why I'm saying I
mean,
don't know.
That's,
That's
and
why
you're
I'm
talking oysters, which are way different, too.
Right.
Because they form colonies, and then they congregate in these large groups and stuff, and so that makes sense, but I don't know of any freshwater,
Yeah, I'm
that
just
does
asking the
that.
question. I don't know.
Yeah,
if it
yeah,
does
I
it.
don't-
I'm just
not that I've
I
heard
think we
of.
need to do some freshwater clam research.
Yeah.
I mean, but not that I know of. I mean,
Start with
anything,
the dinner.
I don't know that they congregate. I do know that certain things were introduced, like zebra mussels, right, into the lake, and they cause
Oops.
problems.
Yeah, we're
Those are
not going there.
Yeah,
they congregate, and then
Right.
they form these large colonies, and they plug up everything.
yeah, and they don't
Right?
stop.
So I don't know if we necessarily want to
We don't
experiment
want
with.
zebra mussels.
No, but the point, I get your point, Agnes, is that
Maybe,
bivalves can block flow, can
Right.
stop flow.
right. And then you don't know, you have no control over them either, where they're gonna go.
Well, that's why I'm asking what the
Right.
native is. That's why I'm asking
Right.
what the native normal population is.
From
It's
all of our,
interesting, though, you go in that, that little creek that connects the lake to McDonald Creek, between the houses. I mean, there's clams that are this big in there.
Wow.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
So maybe
Well-
clams did have a bigger role.
well, so,
Before, it wasn't the lake.
That's
The
true.
creek just rolled through there.
Right,
So
right.
well, it was
there probably was a lot of
it was a
clams.
slough. I mean, it was always a
The slough
slough.
was
It
one
was,
body of water.
it was a big body of water. I mean, the creek flows out in the topography, and then it was, a wet body of water, but it does go into the creek. And then, Ed, you remember we did all those creek walks and everything. We saw, when we used to walk the creek many years ago, we found all sorts of things. We walked the whole entire things. And so there's lots of mussels and clams and snails and everything else. But from what I know, because I did some research too about creek restoration, about creating riffles and areas for things like that to be able to persist, and keeping channels open and fish migratory passages and all that. And that's a whole other thing. But I do know that they do, when you do the river watch monitoring, you choose certain areas where they like to congregate, which are usually slow moving, so they'll go off from the creek bed from the center and go off where the riffles are and sort of breed there, so, I don't know.
I mean, it's worth keeping an open mind about it,
Sure.
but I don't think it's anything we can really count on
Right,
at this point.
okay.
It'd
So-
be a good Eagle Scout program.
A good Sure. Okay.
One more comment about the water, and this is a little off topic, but 'tis the season now for baseballs, tennis balls, and softballs to float down that creek, and literally, there's hundreds in there. And I pick them out every day. And I don't know if the people playing ball over at the park, you know, they're all coming from over here. I think they're all foul balls, I don't know. But no one, they just let them go and they float down the river.
Well, it makes sense,
Well-
that's where it would come from.
Yeah.
A tributary
But
feeds into it.
it would be nice if, like, someone could be responsible at these games and have someone out there shag the balls when they go.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a big pollution problem in the lake, in the slough.
It also costs, those
Yeah, I was
balls are
gonna say, they're
expensive.
not cheap.
Huh?
either.
They're not cheap balls either, right? They're-
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay. Moving on,
Moving on.
new
I
business.
think we could talk to the park district
Yeah, the
about
park
that.
district,
Yeah.
maybe ask, yeah. 'Cause, sure, I think, yeah, it's probably complicated. New business, no PHNRC meeting in June?
Our next meeting's July 11th.
And no,
July 11th.
there's no meeting in August either, right?
Correct.
Okay.
At 7, okay. And any announcements to the public, Seth? I guess that was an announcement pretty much
Kinda,
to the
yeah.
public too, not to put things in the water. Okay, no visitors. Then,
I make the motion, we adjourn?
second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I